Get mantra and meditation MP3s at jasongallant.ca. An important thing to remember on your spiritual journey is that you are not your story. You're not the story that people tell you about you. You're not the story that you tell yourself. And you're not the story that continually evolves, right? You always have different opinions about yourself, different ideas. Your history is always unfolding before your very eyes. But on the enlightenment journey, you are falling into the place of no story. Right? We've talked about mantra a lot on this channel. And mantra is Sanskrit for to free from the mind. And the mind is where story exists. Now, this is very frustrating to many people on the spiritual journey, especially in a lot of the New Age circles, where they'll tell you stories about you're from this place, or you have a past life here, you're the second coming of something, right? There's all these stories, and some of them might be true. I'm not saying that they are not, but what I am saying is, if you wish to free yourself from suffering, no matter how pleasant the story, you'll have to let it go. And I'm sure that you've had lots of pleasant stories to live by in your life, and those are great. I mean, for periods of time, they can be very nourishing and fulfilling and happy stories. And I don't blame you for holding on to some of them, because they help offset some of the negative stories you've had to live. But at some point you'll find that even the pleasant stories have something missing. There's something missing in those pleasant stories that you tell yourself. And the thing that is missing is you. The truest you. The you that has nothing to do with story. Now, this is very scary to many people. And you may have had this experience where you wake up in the morning and before you even have a thought of who you are and where you are, maybe you're entangled in a dream or something and you have a moment of forgetting where you are, and there's that panic that sets in. Well, that same panic will set in when you start to let go of your story. It's a defense mechanism of the mind to keep you in the same prison of I. It's very normal. It's not an unusual experience to have when letting go of pieces of your story. Usually there is a wall of fear before freedom. So the practice of meditation is to detach from the stories. And yes, some of them will come up very strongly in meditation because stories in the mind will also plant themselves in the emotions and in the physicality of the body. The the body itself will identify with certain stories. We know that the body follows the mind. The placebo experience in medicine is proof of this, where people who take a pill that with no medicine in it whatsoever somehow experience miraculous healing, as if they were taking the proper medicine. And in this way, the mind can have power over the body if you are attaching to stories. So as you allow yourself to fall into freedom, freedom from story, then the natural state of perfection will make itself apparent to you. And the beautiful thing about your natural state is that it does not need anything in order for it to be what it is. The experience of freedom and fulfillment is unconditional in this state. Just like having a great meal. Right? When you have a great meal, you don't seek a horrible tasting meal after that. You know where the good flavors are. Well, when you experience the flavor of you, the superficial excitements of story will no longer nourish you. I mean, they never have, but you will not be fooled by superficial excitement. You will know where the real experience of freedom is. Of course, you will still use the mind, but you won't be locked into stories of identification, right? You won't be locked into defined ideas of what you are based on limitation. The boundaries of you will be negotiable, meaning open to evolution, not locked in rigidity and stubbornness and rejection of truth. So in the end, stories can be very pleasant or not so pleasant. But don't worry, you are not the story. So many people have an idea of what happiness is, or what fulfillment is, or what enlightenment is. The funny thing about that is when you let go of your ideas of what those things are, the truth of what they are comes to you. It's freedom from concepts. So that vulnerability authenticity and truth are all that is left. I hope this helps you on your spiritual journey. Take care for now. Are you interested in working with a spiritual teacher in a formal setting? Well, perhaps the Wisdom Life School is for you. If you're interested in checking out what the Wisdom Life School is all about, just go to aratima.com.